Right. Thanks, Peggy. And thanks everyone for coming to our research webinar on locating US documents. As Peggy mentioned, my name is Taylor Fox and I'm a reference librarian here at the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, or TSLAC. So today this session will be covering US documents and the Federal Depository Library Program. We'll talk about how to find US documents using catalogs and finding US documents online. First, a little bit about TSLAC. We are located in downtown Austin, Texas by the Capitol building. Currently, our archives reading room is open to the public by appointment only. And we always like to share an overview of TSLAC's mission and the services and programs our agency provides to Texans. Today's webinar is part of our mission to provide Texans access to needed information. These are our 3 service areas, and if you want to learn more about our agency, you can visit our website. Now let's learn about US documents. Throughout this webinar, I'll be referring to the Government Publishing Office, or GPO. As you can see from this image of their building, GPO used to be called the Government Printing Office, but since so much information now is published electronically, the agency's name changed. But GPO's mission has stayed the same, to keep America informed. For nearly 140 years, GPO has produced and distributed US documents. So what are US documents? For the purposes of this webinar, we'll be using these points as part of our definition. So US documents are publications or published works. That means original records are outside the scope of this program. However, many original records are collected and reproduced or transcribed in publications. A special example of this is the US serial set, produced by Congress as bound, compiled volumes of important documents. Remember also that publications doesn't always mean books. US documents include a variety of formats like maps, brochures, electronic documents, microfiche, and even audiovisual formats. The other thing about US documents is they are created by a federal government agency. According to GPO, the United States government is the largest publisher in the world. Every day, the US government issues congressional bills, laws, regulations, presidential documents, studies, and more on a variety of topics. Below are images of some examples, all of which are found online. Also, US documents use a unique classification system called Superintendent of Documents, or SUDOC for short. And this is how the documents get their call numbers and organization on the shelf. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Fun fact, there is a real person at GPO whose job title is Superintendent of Documents. So if you're here, you've likely thought of some ways that US documents could be relevant to your research. And here are some ideas to consider. Whatever your historical research topic is, the US government probably had something to say about it. From Texas annexation to military conflicts, the environment, foreign affairs, including when Texas was its own country, health, science, disease, and so on, US documents can strengthen your historical research. If you're researching current topics, there are US documents for that too. The federal government constantly produces new publications and distributes them regularly. You can also use US documents to research how policies and government responses to different topics developed over time, according to the government's own published information. And if your ancestor had any sort of interaction with the federal government, US documents may have more details to add to your family tree. To access US documents, some may be in print only and some may be online. For print documents, you'll want to check with libraries that are part of the Federal Depository Library Program, or FDLP. Since 1813, depository libraries have safeguarded the public's right to know by collecting, organizing, maintaining, preserving, and assisting users with information published by the federal government. TSLAC is part of the FDLP. So that means we are mandated to collect and provide access to government information and publications. In addition to TSLAC, there are nearly 1,250 federal depository libraries nationwide, including about 50 in Texas. You can use the GPO website shown here to find a depository library near you. And there are also many online options depending on what sort of document you're looking for. For example, HathiTrust and Internet Archive are good sources for historical US documents, for example, the US serial set. For recent documents, the federal agency's website can be a good source, for example, Congressional Research Service reports. I've listed a few resources here that we refer to frequently. This is not a comprehensive list, just some good places to get started if you're looking for documents online. So let's look closer at some strategies to find US documents. One of the easiest ways to start searching TSLAC collections for US documents is through our online catalog. As a federal depository library, we receive all documents and publications distributed by the GPO. I want to point out, though, that not all documents published before 1976 will be listed in our catalog, but it's still a good place to start. We'll talk a little bit more about why that is later. So here's a screenshot of our online catalog, and there are different ways to search. So let's cover some of the most common types of searches. The words or phrase and subject searches are useful if you have a research topic, but not a specific document in mind. These are also helpful if you aren't sure which government agency oversees that topic, or if there could be multiple agencies. For example, US documents about the military could potentially fall under several federal agencies and legislative committees. If you type in your keyword and press enter, the catalog will do a words or phrase search by default. An author search is helpful if you want to search only for reports authored by a specific agency, like the US Department of Agriculture, for example. To search by author, you'll type in your search terms and then click the author button. You can use a title search when you know the document's title or keywords that will appear in the title. To search that way, you'll type in your search terms and click the title button. Let's try a words or phrase search on a sample research topic. In this example, I've searched for unidentified flying objects using the words or phrase search, and the search found 18 titles. With a general words or phrase search, not all of the results will be US documents. It just depends on your topic. But as you can see from the screenshot here, which shows the first 5 results, many resources on my topic are US documents, and several are available online. I could click the red hyperlink to access the document electronically. Scrolling through my results, at the bottom are titles that do not have red links. They have bold text that says book. This tells me the title is available in print, likely either paper or microfiche, at TSLAC. I can click the blue hyperlinked title to display the item's record and find out more. Here's the item information for the title I just clicked on. Next to physical description, the book appears to be about 12 pages. If I want to look at the book in TSLAC's library, I will take note of the call number listed here, and that's how the staff will retrieve the book for me. If you want to limit your results to only US documents, you can use the advanced search feature. Type in your search terms in the words or phrase, author, title, or subject fields like we talked about earlier. Then before hitting enter or clicking search, change the location to @TSLAC US Documents Collection using the drop-down menu. Another way to use the TSLAC catalog is to browse by call number. This gives you the same experience as if you were browsing the shelves. As I mentioned earlier, US documents use the SUDOC classification system. The useful thing about this system is that it's organized by agency. So if you want to only browse the shelves for documents produced by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, for example, you could do that by going to the catalog homepage, click on Advanced Search. On the right side of the screen, under Catalog Searches, click Call Number. Then be sure to change the shelving scheme to SUDOC using the drop-down menu. Now I want to determine the call number stem for the agency I'm researching. The stem is the first part of the call number that never changes. There are a lot of resources that can help you find and read SUDOC call numbers, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. For now, we'll use this handy guide from GPO, which has a small sample of some frequently used call number stems. I know it's a little bit hard to read, but I can see on my end that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention call number stem is HE20.7000:. So I'll input that into the call number field and hit enter or click search. My results display in call number order as if I were browsing the shelf, and I can use the previous and next buttons to continue browsing. To access US documents at TSLAC, you'll want to contact the reference desk to find out what your options are. As of this webinar presentation and recording, our archives are available by appointment, but our reference reading room services, which includes the US Documents collection, are still limited. So other options could apply, like scanning a limited number of pages. We could point you to an electronic version if one is available, or we could refer you to another library that could have the document. If you want to broaden your search for US documents beyond TSLAC, you can use the Catalog of US Government Publications maintained by GPO. GPO's catalog includes records generated since July 1976, and it's updated daily. So the catalog will grow to include records for publications dating back to the late 1800s. Eventually, that will make the catalog of US government publications the central point for locating new and historical government publications. GPO's catalog has the same basic functionality as our catalog, so I won't go into search strategies, but some useful things to note are results in the GPO catalog will include direct links to the full document when available. And the catalog also has a locate a library feature within each record. So you can use that feature to find a nearby Federal Depository Library that could help you find that particular publication you're looking for. As I mentioned earlier, there are some resources to help you learn more about call numbers or classifications for US documents. The FDLP website has information. I've got the links here about class stems and lists of classes. So if you want to browse by call number, those will be some useful resources for you. I also want to point out some print resources that are especially useful if you're researching US documents that were published before 1976. First is Andriott's Guide to US Government Publications. Andriott's is a 3-volume set that lists federal depository titles, information about their publication history, like frequency, and it also cross-references other similar titles and call numbers. For me, this resource has been particularly valuable when I needed to trace how a federal agency's name and SUDOC number changed over time. Also listed here is the monthly catalog. Long before the internet, the government published its catalogs in print. This was done monthly, so libraries and researchers would know what new government information had recently become available. Some libraries may still have copies of these monthly catalogs, but it did cease printing in 2004. These catalogs are useful if you don't have a title, but you have a general date range when you think the document was published or distributed. I mentioned earlier that there are several resources for finding and viewing US documents online. One such resource is HathiTrust. Many items in HathiTrust are available as full view, but not all of them. Many US documents will be full view since most government publications don't have copyright restrictions. So you can use the full text and full view only options if you want to see only fully viewable publications that have your keywords anywhere in the book. Or you can use the catalog search and uncheck the full view only option. This is usually how I personally search HathiTrust. Using the catalog search helps narrow my results to only items that have my keywords in the actual catalog record, so fields like title, subject, or author. I also like to unclick the full view only option because even if a publication isn't available to view in full, I still want to know about it because I may be able to find it online elsewhere or in print. Since there are so many other options for online searching and we have limited time today, please contact us or your local Federal Depository Library if you're interested in learning more. You can contact us by mail, phone, or email. Our standard response time is 7 to 10 business days, but please let us know if you have a deadline for your request that requires a response sooner, and we'll do our best to work within your timeline. When contacting us, it's helpful to provide as much information as possible, like titles or call numbers, for us to better assist you. If you don't have a title or call number, let us know what you're researching, and we can point you in the right direction. If you're interested in collections at our Sam Houston Regional Library and Research Center in Liberty, Texas, we recommend that you contact them directly. In summary, we defined US documents. We overviewed some major sources for finding US documents in print and online, as well as sources for supporting your research. We also learned strategies for searching TSLAC's catalog for US documents. Thanks for being here, and we've got plenty of time for questions.